everybody. Today we are speaking with Deuce,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Perfect. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Thank you for being here with us. I'm perfect. I'm really excited to hear about you and your application called Mindbuddy. Tell me, what is it about?
Okay, so Mindbuddy is a app that is a stress and anxiety management app. But the difference is that this time it uses your biometric data. So if you have a wearable like an Apple Watch, it analyzes that data, but instead of giving you raw data to then interpret or trends to interpret, it just gives you simple pieces of advice to do for that day. And that can be, so we have one section that's a breathing exercise. We have a somatic exercise for like body therapy. And then we also have a chat function feature that's still under development. It's going to change a bit. So where you can talk it out. So this is all to help manage stress and anxiety long term. And it's really sort of it's been created to also sit in that waiting period of when you are waiting to see a therapist or a psychiatrist. So this is really just like little tools that you can have every day that are completely tailored to you. And obviously it gets smarter over time as well, what works for you. So that's basically, in short, what it is.
Okay, so anxiety is it's one of the most common struggles in the world,
Yeah.
and most people go through it alone still. So, what do we get wrong about how to deal with anxiety?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, there are definitely many different angles, but for me, what was wrong, because struggled with anxiety a lot through my life, is that I was always sort of taught that it lives in the brain and that you can talk your way out of anxiety, but I've learned that it just sits in the body as much as it sits in the brain. So sometimes talking about it isn't going to help. You really need to sort of create that safety in your body by putting yourself in that parasympathetic state, which is where breathing or somatic exercises in particular come into. So I think that's where we've been going wrong for a long time with anxiety, really just treating it like it just lives in the head and that it's something you can talk about all the time. Sometimes it helps, but it depends on the person.
Yeah, you know that I had like 2 years of my life I wasted on. I could just say it like that. I wasted on being anxious. I didn't know the root cause. And I was talking about it a lot because I thought it's going to help me. But actually, the more I talked about it, it was worse.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely a
that
thing.
was really paradoxal. Yeah. So when I stopped giving it so much attention, actually it got better. And also I realized what was causing it. Because for example, no one told me that too much coffee can lead to anxiety. I had no idea.
Oh wow.
And then, yeah, so when I had 2 or 3 coffees a day, and then I just cut it out completely, and then everything was fine.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you found the root cause of it because that just doesn't sound like a fun 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, it was really, I mean, I'm laughing now, but it wasn't fun at all.
No, you have to laugh now,
Um,
otherwise it's too sad.
yeah, exactly. So tell me how your founder's life look like now. How do you spend your typical day?
Oh wow, yeah, it's very different to when I had a full-time job, that's for sure. There's that really funny like meme that says, I quit my 9 to 5 so I could work 24/7. That's basically what it feels like. But that being said, I'm good with my resting and stuff. So I think I'm not an early riser. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. and work, like it just doesn't work for me. So I normally get up around 8, something like that. I have a very focused, intense work session in the morning, probably until like 2. Then I have my lunch. And then I think a lot of people have that dip in the afternoon. And then I spent years fighting through it. And then at one point I thought, why am I forcing myself when I don't need to anymore? So then I usually take the afternoon off to exercise. I love to surf. That's why I moved to Lisbon. So I surf, come back home, and then I tend to work in the evenings as well. That works for me anyway.
So is it intense? Like they show it on, I don't know, social media, those relatable memes and posts. Is it like that, or you found a way to make it optimal?
Well, no, it is intense. But there was a really good quote that I saw that It said like having a 9 to 5 is hard and having your own company is hard. You just have to choose your hard. Like which one are you willing to work for, basically. So it's hard. There's a lot of stress. The financial instability is really really intense compared to like the stability that you get from having a 9 to 5 job. You know, your income comes in every month, and that you don't have to worry about anything other than your job. So it's a lot of pressure for sure, but it doesn't feel like work for me. I'm excited to get up. I don't have that Sunday scary blues mood of like, oh, I have to work tomorrow. Like I don't have that anymore. So for me, this kind of stress is much more sustainable than the stress of being in a job that I really don't enjoy.
Perfect. So nice to hear, because also people who have business on their own, and they do what they love, sometimes cannot also channel the stress in a positive way, you know?
Yeah,
And they start hating what they do, which is,
it's
I
sad.
mean,
Yeah.
tragic. Yeah, 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 yeah. So before this, before you're having your own business, you said you worked 9 to 5. But what was the path that led you into health tech and neuroscience?
Well, like I come from a family of doctors on my mum's side. They're but either doctors or professors. So I think science was always very much in my DNA. I really tried to resist it when I was a child and do something creative, but I ended up doing neuroscience. So, um, yeah, I've just always been around it. And I have a younger brother who has very severe autism and learning difficulties. So for me, I grew up definitely wanting to understand him. So that's, I think, where my fascination with the brain started. And then, so after my university, I did my master's. I thought I was going to stay in research, but I realized I didn't want to. So I went into a job, did that, but then it was the pandemic. So, well, fortunately, unfortunately, I got made redundant because I was leading discovery research it was really cool actually. So we studied psychedelics as a treatment for depression or mental health illnesses. And it was really fun and really challenging. But because I was doing discovery research and not clinical research, our funding got cut. So I lost my job, but that's the reason why I ended up coming to Portugal. So I'm not upset about it anymore. And then, so whilst I was in Portugal, I had some time off to really think about what I wanted to do. And then this came about. I started to get a little bit more into yoga and breath work, but then I really didn't really enjoy like the spiritual side of it. I do for myself, but I don't like the way people teach it, in my opinion. I really liked the science. And when I was doing the psychedelic research, you know, we worked with patients and they get taught stuff like functional breathing to help calm them down in if they have like a very intense trip, because it's more than likely that it does happen. So I slowly got into that. I started doing one-on-one breathing sessions with people here in Lisbon. I started my own practice because I trained as well. And I was very surprised about who I was getting. I was getting young bankers who were getting burnout, older entrepreneurs as well, going through very intense funding rounds. And it was really because I was teaching it from the scientific perspective rather than the spiritual side. And because of that, then I had one client who was doing breathing sessions with me. And after 3 sessions, his heart, HRV was going up like very significantly. And because of that, then my business partner, Emerson, he said, this is an amazing idea. Maybe we can do this something with tech, so we can, instead of you doing it one-on-one, it will be with you and many. And that's how this started basically.
Oh my God, amazing story. Amazing. So it comes from your own experience, and I guess you also maybe experienced some struggles with anxiety during your career.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I think
Yeah.
since very young, I put a lot of pressure on myself. Like I have that perfectionist tendency, which I guess a lot of entrepreneurs do. So it's also things that I helped me, and even like today, like anxiety will never go away. It's an emotion. It's there. It evolved to keep us safe. You know, it's just when we get stuck in the anxiety that it becomes negative. So you know, everything that I'm learning also during this journey, building the app and having a company, like because I had no experience before, it's all going into the app, which is really exciting.
Amazing. So do you remember the exact moment when the idea clicked? Like exactly for Mindbuddy, for the app.
Yeah, I do. It's actually a funny story. I remember. because I had a bit of I think my ego was a bit bruised because I was trying to do my own thing with the one-on-one sessions, and then Emerson, my business partner, we went for dinner, and he had this idea of like how we could make it an app and it can become a huge company. And we had an argument about it because I was like, you don't respect what I'm doing, like you don't want me to be like one-on-one with someone, not everything has to be like bigger, better, money, like. But then I got home and I did some research because his idea was in the back of my head. And I did some research about how the heart rate monitors in Apple Watches are actually they're quite good now, and they can really, well, not always, but HRV can be considered pretty accurate. And it can even detect like heart flutters, or I don't know what the official word is, but like pre-heart attacks. It's really like advanced. And because of that, that was the moment where I was like, I think this might work. So yeah, it was after an argument, but the next morning
It
it
was
all clicked.
productive.
It was productive, and then the next morning I called them. I was like, right, let's do this. I think we can. I think we're onto something.
That's amazing story. So you are blending neuroscience and AI.
Yes.
And what is one thing that Mindbuddy can do that a normal wellness application cannot?
Yeah. So this is the thing. So the difference between, for example, us and ChatGTP, because you can talk to ChatGTP about everything, and like, it can give you exercises that you want. The difference is between us and ChatGTP, for example, is that they don't have access to your biometric data. They don't have access to your watch. They don't have access to your phone. Obviously, you have to give permissions for everything. Like, you're in complete control of what you share with us. But that's the difference. So anything that we as an app recommend for you, it's completely personalized to you. It's not just a generic thing that you have to figure out by yourself. And then compared to like another wellness app, for example, they tend to be sort of like a library of meditations or guided stuff that you can choose from. And we know when you're really, really stressed and anxious, you can't make decisions. You just need to do something. So here you go, do it. Did you like it? Yes or no? And then over time, it becomes more and more tailored to you. But that's the difference, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, I know when I had my attacks, I was always calling my mom, to tell me that I'm not gonna die or something like that. So maybe call mom would be.
No, I like that. That's a good piece of feedback. Maybe a cool feature inside.
Yeah, yeah, call mom.
I love
Okay,
that.
so um, people that get your application, they come to you vulnerable. Did I pronounce this right?
Vulnerable, yes.
So how do you earn their trust, and where do you draw the line, like what the app should do and what it shouldn't do?
Well, we right now it's in beta development, so it's not been released yet. So this is something that we're very focused on during this phase. But we very clearly say that we are not a medical device. This is just a wellness app that helps you. Our interface is extremely, extremely basic, just because that brings a lot of calm and peace, and that in turn brings trust. But what our strategy is now is that we're gonna because we're gonna start our go-to-market strategy soon. It's gonna actually start with building a community, with me being in the center of it, because that's how we want to build trust. Because we know, especially with the rise of AI, we're missing that personal touch. And I think the only way we can build trust is that if people hear my story and either resonate with me or not, or trust me, yes or no. So the trust is actually going to start with me and the community that we're going to build. And then the app is the way into that community, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's an amazing approach actually, because you are actually expert in that area,
Yeah.
and you've been through that yourself. So you help yourself first, and then you help many people
Yeah.
one on one and prove that it works. And now you're just packing it into something that can help many other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but in a more like efficient way, right?
Exactly, yeah, because it's very rewarding doing it one on one, but it isn't very efficient. No, it's there needs to be a balance of both.
Yeah. So the first version of Mindbuddy, the one that you wouldn't show to anyone at the moment, how did it look like?
Oh God, no, I'm embarrassed even thinking about it. It was very, very basic. It's, I mean, it depends how far back you go, because this idea evolved obviously, as it always does, like many, many times. And At one point, we even had an idea to do with tokens so that people are rewarded for their data, but then we quickly realized that's not going to be building trust. So it really depends. This current version that we've been sticking to and developing, it was very simple, very basic. It didn't have the body support page, which is all about the somatic therapies. Um, yeah, it was just kind of looked like a PDF on an app. So not great, but you have to start somewhere. And to be like
Of course.
putting it out there was good because the feedback that we then got, I've had a lot of trust that I was going to dedicate my time to then develop something. Because at one point you've looked at something so many times, you kind of lose notion of what's important and what's useful. So really to putting that first embarrassing MVP out is so important to actually making something good, I think.
And that's what I wanted to ask you next. So you did release it, right?
Yeah, well, it's released as a beta version, so it's on test flight right now, and we have
Hmm.
like a cohort of people that are testing it. But we think that it's going to be maybe 2 or 3 more rounds, and then we're going to release the first version on the App Store.
Yeah, so it already helped someone.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We've had some really
So
nice
how was
feedback.
the, yeah, yeah, how did you feel when the first person actually gave you feedback? It helped me.
It was amazing. I think a lot of founders have imposter syndrome, and there was that time, when you've been working for something for so long, you get scared. Like, what if it doesn't work? So when you got that first feedback of someone, it was someone coming back from work and they were on the train and they were very stressed from a long day and they did one of the breathing exercises whilst on the train and their feedback was amazing. It was really, really nice to see, and it brought a lot of peace and like confidence that we're on the right track at least.
Yeah, and to keep going on.
Definitely, yeah. It's a very big motivator. Gives you a big boost.
But did you have any, I mean, I know you certainly did, but like what was the hardest moment or the one that you can remember?
Like the feedback that was the hardest, do you mean?
Not necessarily feedback, but the moment from when you started building it till now.
Oof. There have been many. I think one of the hardest, I remember the first time we like started pitching, that was really tough. Putting myself out there for the first time and getting constructive criticism and not because you spent so much time and energy into building this and then you have someone saying something negative about it. It was so hard to not take personally. And it got easier with time for sure, but that I remember that first time it was like I felt my face burning. I felt so embarrassed. But yeah, that's probably the one of the hardest moments.
And do you do like when you do the marketing, do you do it with, do you expose yourself?
I will be, yeah. So I haven't been doing that at this point, but we've been working with an amazing strategist who designed the next at least 12 months for us, and she was like, you have to be on the center of it, so it has to
Hmm.
start now. So I am also nervous about that because obviously it's not even about being laughed at. I think it's more I'm nervous that I'll put myself out there and no one cares. I think that's even
Hmm.
worse, that
Yeah,
no one
exactly.
watches. It's not even about if people don't like it. It's like, what if no one cares enough to listen? But it's like, it's part of the journey, It's a resilience building.
Of course. Yeah, and at one moment you just stop caring.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I'm also a business owner and also worked with a lot of founders and met a lot of founders. And when you ask them about the hardest part on their journey, so no one mentions, for example, it was the hardest when we had to get this verification or some technical. They always forget these things because you're always in problem solving mode. But it's usually the imposter syndrome, getting out and showing up, exposing, doing marketing like with your own face and everything, and getting the feedback, which is usually more personal
Yeah,
than
totally.
connected to the product or service.
Yeah, I guess it's because emotion is it's like Because now that you've said that, yeah, there have been really difficult times. Like setting up a company in Portugal was not straightforward. The taxes in Portugal are not straightforward. Those are actually also really hard times. But as you said, I forgot about them because there's not a huge emotional weight to it. Whereas if putting yourself out there, there is, and that's really like it's very like big, that emotion, and that tends to be what people remember, how they feel.
And what was the moment when you felt like everything I've gone through, every hard situation and phase, and everything was worth it? Like when you said, because of this exact outcome, it was all worth it till now.
I think there's a few definitely. For example, that first bit of positive feedback that really made me feel like okay, I remember why I'm doing this because I'm actually doing this to help people. Because I have that cliche thing where I was a kid, I just knew I wanted to help people in some way, shape, or form. So that for me was really a moment where I was like, okay, I'm really happy I'm doing this. Um, but it's also just the excitement of like I sometimes felt before when I had a 9 to 5 that my life wasn't mine. I was working for someone else, and I really struggled with that. So most days when I remember that I have complete control over what I'm doing, how I'm working, how I see my put my days. I mean, sometimes you just work for 5 days straight and you don't see anyone, and it sucks. But it's every time I have those moments of like I'm able to go surfing or I'm able to I don't know just build my life around me that's also really a moment for me where I'm like this is worth all the struggles and the insecurities and you know it's a journey and it's fun. I'm not bored is what I'm trying to say ever, which is a nice feeling.
Yeah, and you're also doing something that actually you're doing it with passion
Yeah, yeah, and
because
I'm very
you
grateful
have
for
your
that.
own why. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very grateful because I'm very aware that like having a job that you're passionate and grateful about is actually a luxury for most people. So I really try and remind myself of that every time I'm in deep stress or I want to cry or, you know, it's a privilege to be able to cry about a job that you're very passionate about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And do you have those moments like when you just have reality check, like, oh my God, I have a life that I once dreamed of,
Totally. No,
and I
no.
created all by myself.
Yeah, no, it's really important to take little pauses, I think, on an entrepreneurial journey and remind yourself of that because it's so fast paced. It's constantly evolving, you're constantly learning. Sometimes you do forget how much you've grown. Like if I look back at the last 2 years, I'm a completely different person. Like I think I did my most growth as a person in the 2 years that I've been an entrepreneur. So it's sometimes it's good to take a step back and be like, wow.
Yeah. You know, my consultant used to say, you are the first order of business.
Ah, nice. That's a good
So
one.
so you have to work on yourself all the time in order to improve your business actually.
Yeah.
And people think they have to increase sales, they have to, I don't know, hire more people or whatever, but actually inner work is something that always reflects on business after.
Yeah, it's about leadership, is I guess. It's if you stay the same leader each time, you can't scale your business, can you? Like you have to always be evolving with the business.
So what would you say to someone that is watching this and has an idea but hasn't started yet? What would be like the first thing that they should do or know?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it depends. If they're feeling stuck mentally because they feel like they can't do it, my business partner gave me a really good piece of advice that I always still remember. It's like money follows movement. So you just have to do something. Like just start. Like it doesn't matter about being perfect. You'll never get anywhere unless if you keep finding excuses to not do something. But if it's actually about like practical advice, um, God, I'm not very experienced, but for me, it was talking to people because if I wasn't talking to people about my idea, even when I'm out socializing, I wouldn't have met my advisors. My advisors have been amazing. I met my advisor here in a party in Lisbon. So, and he's been such a mentor. So, talking, like not being ashamed to ask for help is a really important one. And actually, to be honest, when I was doing my process, and then I met Javier from Creative Takeovers, and I saw the platform, I was like, wow, I wish I had this 2 years ago, because I had to learn the long way about, forming your business idea, what the gap in the market. Like I didn't know any of this because I was really a 9 to 5 scientist. So it was I said when we met, I think a year ago now, this is a really cool platform. And I think it's going to help a lot of young founders really sort of compartmentalize and really shape their idea. But
And
otherwise,
for
speak to people.
everything,
Yeah, for everything.
yeah, and for everything in life, you have to, how to say, you have to pass certain exams, right? But for starting a business, no one asks you, do you know how to do this?
Oh yeah,
You
no,
just go straight into it.
yeah, you dive deep head first into a deep thing. But it's fun. I'm saying this now because I'm in a good mood, but it's not always fun. But the overall, it is really fun, and I feel really challenged, and that's the point of life for me. So
And where do you see uh, yourself and your company in a year from now? And is there something maybe that scares you from getting there?
yeah, so in a year's time, the whole plan is to have like a real community of like 1,000 true people, part of the community, who are constantly interacting with me or with our community or with like our events that we're going to do. And it scares me because, I mean, one, it has me putting myself out there. That is a terrifying feeling. I haven't done that for like the last 10 years of my life, at least. Because when I was younger, I liked to be on stage, but I don't do that anymore. So it's a scary feeling. But also, there's always that looming, we're looking for angel investors now. And it's always scary to know that this plan is kind of dependent on, even though it's a very small ticket, it is dependent on finding that money. And I think that adds, it's not a scary thing, but it adds a lot of pressure that I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to relieving.
And how do you calm after a stressful day? Do you use Mindbuddy?
I actually do. I love to use it at the end of my day. So when I get home, I always use it for like, it's very short. It's always like little, between 2 and 5 minutes. Um, or I do it in the car because you can do the breathing exercises in the car on the way home. Or I love to do a surfing. And for me, the breathing exercises that are also in the app, I actually do them when I'm on the water as well, in the waves. If I have like a big wave coming and I need to calm down, I do the breathing exercises just from memory as well. So I do use Mindbuddy, and I do go surfing as well. That's a really good way for me to break my day in distress.
And I wanted to ask you about your favorite corner of Lisbon, but I suppose that would be the water, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the ocean, but if that doesn't really count as Lisbon, I guess. But my favorite corner of Lisbon, I do love the Santos. Oh my God, it's so hard. Wait, no. Of the city, it's Santos area. It's super green, and it's like you bump into friends all the time, have a nice glass of wine outside. But otherwise, yeah, the beach or the waters. There's so many beautiful beaches here, and like it's amazing.
I wish I was there now.
Yeah, no, it's a really nice
You
place.
describe it so nice. Yeah, you
Mo-
described it so nicely.
Most people that come, they come for a holiday and then they don't leave. So that happened to me. So be warned.
I might come for a holiday.
You should, you should.
Tell me, what is the most overused buzzword in wellness?
Ooh, this might be a bit controversial, but I think longevity. Like, there's this obsession with longevity. Everything is making your life longer, and but like, what's the point of living longer if you're miserable? It's. I think the focus should not be on longevity, but really on a happiness and just more balance, and being more present in the now. Because longevity is always like you're not in the present moment, you're not enjoying your life, you're constantly worrying about the future, and it's actually kind of bringing a lot of health anxiety in. And I know that even for me, all of this like longevity talk, I've had to unfollow a lot of people that I love to follow just because I can't see it anymore. It makes me anxious, it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. So I think that's definitely the buzzword for me that is being overused right now.
Yeah, and people are actually scared of getting old, but getting older means that you're alive, right?
Exactly. It's a privilege to age, really. I mean, it's always great to want to be healthier, but I think there's a balance that we're not quite getting right now.
So, in 5 years, will support for your mind live in your pocket? What do you think?
I think so, but I think with the way that AI is going, it could even be not necessarily on a phone, it could be on whatever technology is then coming. But the whole point of this app isn't necessarily to then be reliant on this piece of technology. It's a tool to help you feel more reliant of yourself, because anxiety really comes from not feeling like you can handle whatever's going to come next. So this tool is just more like an anchor to yourself and a reminder to come back down to earth, be a bit more grounded, rather than like your mind living in your pocket, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So, if I want to try it right now, where should I go?
Well, I can send. We're getting our website live very soon, but right now I've been posting on LinkedIn, so
Mm-hmm.
I can give you the link to test flight, no problem. But I will be posting the external, because right now we're doing internal betas just with like 50 people, just to iron out all like the glitches and the bugs. So probably in September I'll be releasing the beta version. So I'll be putting it on the website where people can sign up.
So, people should follow you on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, follow me on
Okay.
LinkedIn.
And are you sharing there maybe some advice for struggling with anxiety or something like that?
I'm not currently, but I'm now preparing a Substack. So I will be sharing Substack articles and preparing also podcasts with interviewing either business entrepreneurs who deal with anxiety or anyone who deals with a highly stressful job, and also other researchers in the field. So it's going to come more and more, very early days still. So, but on my LinkedIn, you can find everything, and every piece of advice or podcast or Substack will be posted on there, and also on the website coming.
Amazing. Amazing. And what would you want those people who struggle with anxiety, and what would you want them to hear right now?
I think that it's that you're not broken. Anxiety has kind of been demonized, and anxiety, not a lot of people are aware that anxiety is an innate emotion that we can never avoid. So just because you feel anxious doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you at all. So I think that's the main message.
I wish someone told me this
Uh,
5 years ago.
yeah, I mean, me too. I hid it a lot because I grew up in the UK where emotions are very sort of put down or repressed. You know, you shouldn't show emotion, it's negative. So when I was feeling anxious, I was hiding it like a dirty secret, and that makes it worse and worse and worse. And I thought I was broken because I had anxiety, that I wasn't cut out for it. So I think it's an important message for people to hear.
Yeah, in Balkans too. It's it's like invented
Yeah,
condition, you know,
yeah,
like something you just made up to feel to make yourself feel important or something like that.
yeah. No, definitely. It's I think there's a lot of countries like that as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was so nice speaking with you.
Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you for inviting me.